Welcome to session one of Being Villainous 101. It's a game where the players get to be villains. We're using the Fate core system as made by Evil Hat. This is a world of my own creation. So, what I'm going to do is give a brief synopsis now of what the game is about, and we'll go from there. Okay, so welcome to the Northern Divide, a place set apart from the rest of the world that is ruled by sword and shield, magic and faith, but also good and evil. Here it is said the gods have set forth their great debate. Some of the gods believe they should tip the scales, guiding the people into the future, while others believe it is best to let the people decide on their own. Because of this debate, there are a chosen few who have the power to tip the scales. The denizens of the divide call them heroes and villains, those who have found a path in life that sets them apart from normal people. You, the players, are amongst those who have been chosen. You aren't amongst those revered by the masses. You aren't the shining light of hope. You're the ones who will drag the world into the future, kicking and screaming, because something about this world is wrong. Who cares if they call you evil or a villain? They have given up their right to decide, because you're the one who has the strength of mind, body, or character to fix the world, no matter the consequences.
Yes, I'm fixing things. That's what's going to happen here.
100%.
I when I wrote that intro, I was like, that sounds super dramatic. I have to read it. It's going to be one of those
Propaganda.
things like the world is for many of you the world is broken somehow, or the world has wronged you in a way that needs to be fixed. So that's why each of you are villains. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go through the intros now. I'll go ahead and start with myself. Hi, I'm Grim. I'm the GM. You can catch me on Shadows of Nox every other Wednesday for Power Rangers, where I play the Red Ranger. And then once it starts broadcasting, you'll be able to catch me on the season 3 of the Power Rangers podcast as the Green Ranger. And hopefully soon, no idea when this is getting broadcast, I'll be able to start re-recording my Fallout game on Lucas G Variety, which I'm super excited to start playing Lucky again. Hooray! I'm going to go clockwise based on how I see people on Discord, so that means Kit, you're up.
Okay. I'm Kit. I don't have a bunch of places I can say where I'm at because I show up randomly and not consistently. Either way, I'll be playing Janak Silvertalon, our resident Owlkin necromancer, and I'm definitely here to solve problems, like the intro said. That's what's going to happen.
So many problems.
Just for people to understand, because you're a villain, each of you are given a symbolic title that represents your character's abilities, where they lean. What is Janak's title?
Janak is a fledgling death cult leader, which is just a fluffy thing to say to people, isn't it? Everyone's happy about that.
We love to see it.
Excellent. All right, continuing down the circle. Next we have Lottie.
Hey, I'm Lottie, or you can find me online at Lottie Ella West on all the socials. You can keep in contact with all of my weird goings on and the LARP creations that I'm working on and burlesque shows. But you can also catch me with Shadows of Nox as on the Wednesdays with the podcast. We do I am Cecily Adwell, Blue Ranger, and Ren Fair obsessed chicken keeper. And then on Sundays, I'm in Call of Cthulhu as your favorite Australian archaeologist, Priscilla Byrne. She might be Queen of the Desert. We don't know. And yeah, I'm super excited to be here. I am playing Irmagard Waise, and her title is Beauty Obsessed Killer Goblin. So
The title's the
not
last
really.
one. You just read the high concept.
Oh, the last one. I'm a dummy and I was scrolling incorrectly. Oh, my title is Novice Visage Taker. So that could we'll have a good time with that.
I like that.
Excited to be
Sounds like
feral.
it'll be fun. Excellent. All right, next on the list is our wonderful tech person, Isabitz.
You say that, and then I have to remember where I'm muted in like 5 different places. I am Elizabeth or Isbits. I am also here on Wednesdays, both for the Power Ranger Centurion as the Blue Ranger and the podcast as the Red Ranger. Um, I run Call of Cthulhu every Sunday. I forgot that the other day that I do that. And I will also be joining Fallout when it picks back up. I will be joining that game as a new character. And I'm very excited for that. Tonight I am playing Beatrix Dupree. Her title is Apprentice Killer for Hire.
Excellent, excellent. All right, and last but certainly not least, we have our friend John.
Hello, hi. My name is John Blair. You can find me on the socials under the alias Chunky Love. Today I am playing Eden, the acolyte of nature's revenge. You can also find me. You can also find me every Wednesday with every other Wednesday with the Power Ranger Centurion. I play the Pink Ranger, and consequently, in the podcast, I play the other Pink Ranger, just full of pink power. So I'm happy to be here, and I can't wait to fix the world and bring it back to its original glory.
Excellent, excellent. One of the reasons I had them give their titles is the titles, unlike some of their other aspects, I'm planning on expanding as they play their characters. We find out more about their roles in the world. So those will be things that will change potentially more often, or even in greater ways. If you're familiar with Fate, they may be able to spend refresh to buy new abilities, things like that, specifically through their title. All right. The players are starting out in the Martin Federation. A brief synopsis of this particular country is it is a democratic republic. So it's run a lot like the U.S. You know, the different city-states elect representatives that go to the House of Representatives in the capital. And the House of Representatives are actually the ones who elect the overall leader. So the House of Reps actually elects the president of the country, as opposed to the people. They are hiding out in Asmoda, which is one of the border city states. I am purposely robbing this one because I like the setting. It borders Rokugan. Martin Federation is nominally a good country. It is, however, known for the largest number of heroes and villains. As you know, that kind of freedom does bring out the best and worst in people. Rokugan, which I'm shamelessly stealing from L5R, is a pseudo-samurai country that is very heavily involved in blood magic. It is one of the 3 countries in this world that is openly aligned with evil, and they have the largest, one of the largest numbers of villains. And they do have a few heroes of note, most of which are, surprise, surprise, exiles from their own country. Though they should never be discounted because either they got lucky and got away, or they're just that powerful that they were able to walk out of that country alive. So the players find themselves in the border city of Asmoda, which is actually a place that serves as a primary garrison and farmland in this particular area. The players are currently hiding out from a local hero. Where they have gone to ground, I will let the group discuss that, but they are currently hiding from a hero known as the Grizzled Mauler, who is a man who works with hammers, both large and small, and he's a veteran of many battles. So, where are you hiding out? Like, what kind of digs have you decided to hole up in?
I believe Eden is sort of living on the outskirts of the city in a more forest-y area. He's built himself a sort of hutch that he sort of resides in, and when he needs to go into the city and do some things that he maybe has to go in and get supplies, or has to do some sort of, he has to walk the cobblestone streets that he hates so much.
At this point, your group has been found out as villains, and the Mauler is looking for you. So your group is hiding somewhere, trying to escape his notice. You probably had to abandon the hutch, largely because if you notice on the map, almost everything outside of the city is farmland.
Oh,
nice
I see.
Straight lines, yeah.
Another
Okay.
thing he hates.
Ah,
I don't know if I
well,
hate. I don't know if I dislike farmlands.
It's trying to manage nature.
That's true.
So
Maybe it should
this
be.
particular area grows some because magic is a thing. That means that they grow a variety of different things. So they grow wheat, they grow certain vegetables, and they have vineyards. Which normally you don't see vineyards with wheat because the temperature you need is very, very different.
I'm going to perhaps maybe wonder to myself if our resident assassin maybe has some underhanded and has some connections on the inside or underground of this city that maybe we could be hiding in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Beatrix probably, if she doesn't know somebody here, she like friend of a friend or acquaintance of an acquaintance, probably an abandoned house somewhere. If there is like an underground sewer system or any kind of like underground underground in this little town, probably a abandoned house that has access to it for a quick getaway if we need it.
Okay. It's not hard to find an abandoned house that serves as a safe house. You've got connections for that. Are you looking for something that's in like a more comfortable neighborhood? Are you looking in a poorer one? And this particular town has 2 sets of walls. So are you inside one of the walls? Are you on the outskirts of the city?
Do the walls have different meanings? Like, are the ones in the inner wall maybe more affluent and the outer wall is a little more rural?
The inner wall is taller, and most of the military high command, the government, the local government, things like that, those buildings are there. There are a few barracks outside and on the outer wall, and there are more affluent neighborhoods inside the inner wall as well. So you're going to find mostly people live pretty comfortably here because not only is there a fairly strong military presence, but there's lots of farmland. So people aren't poor because there's a lot of trade, and let's be honest, soldiers spend money.
Right. I'm gonna say if there's an abandoned house in the inner wall, because I feel like if somebody's looking for us, they're gonna not assume that we're gonna be with the
Hang out
the
with the police
hoity-toity.
and the military.
Yeah, exactly.
There wouldn't really be an abandoned house, but you might be able to find an empty storehouse to use.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be like an actual house. It could
What I
be
was
like a shop.
thinking.
It could be just some kind of an abandoned building, or maybe even not abandoned, and we're just like underground. But something that is in the inner wall because they won't be expecting us to be there with the government and the cops and like the rich people, and we can have lookouts on the outer wall that if they do come questioning us, I have somebody that can come and alert. I have like a system in place for that.
Fair enough. I feel like what we can do is we can stick you in the upper apartment of a bodega,
Perfect.
because that seems like the kind of thing that the rich people would prefer, that the workers don't have to leave their building if they're not part of the rich.
How big is this apartment?
I was about to say we're taking a Centaur upstairs. All right. How is this building up to code? We about to find out how good the
It would
floors are.
be, the building itself would be made out of stone.
Okay.
So the stairs will also be made out of stone, meaning they will support Centaur weight.
Great.
But what I'm hearing is that we're pretty cramped in there.
Oh,
You are a little
absolutely.
cramped because, you know,
I'm tiny.
half horseman.
I'm tiny. Yeah, he takes up a lot of room. Not your fault. But I'm small, so I'm pretty comfortable. I can curl up just about anywhere and connive in peace.
Right. Since we're above a bodega, what's the business we're above?
I request a chopped cheese.
That's exactly what I was thinking someone would want. Please
Uh,
get it the Aki way.
I think it's, you know, just because of some of the jokes, I'm gonna make it a deli. It's a place where
Okay.
the soldiers will come and like order midday meals and stuff.
All right, so we're hiding in the
So I
apartment above a deli.
So I can theoretically get something the Aki way.
Theoretically.
Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, I imagine I'm maybe curled up, taking up a large section of the largest room, probably the like living area, because I probably can't fit through any of the small sort of doorways. Maybe.
We'd have to move the bed for you to
Okay.
have room in the bedroom, so it's easier just to have you in the living room.
Yeah, this particular bodega is fairly sizable. So lucky for you, they have like they do have a fairly large living space with 2 small bedrooms, and like they don't need a kitchen. They've got one downstairs, but they have like the sort of private room with the magical chamber pot set off to one side.
Gotcha.
You said that we've been that are we made as villains specifically, or there's just they know there are villains in town, or they know we're villains in town? Because that is two different things.
They know there are villains in town, and since you're all pretty new to your titles, going to ground seemed like the smartest choice at the time. So the Grizzled Mauler is on the lookout for villains.
Gotcha, but doesn't have like our faces or races specifically.
Beatrix, I find it quite ironic that your connections safe house is located above the busiest source of sustenance for these soldiers that are currently hunting us.
Well, I have people that are going to report to me if questions are asked about us, if we need to make a retreat. And it's not going to be odd for them to come in here because it is so busy. And I can always change my face and go down there and meet with them.
I believe the rest of it's called refuge through audacity.
And it's better than the slums.
Oh, I'll certainly agree there. Certainly
I'd
much more
prefer
comfortable.
myself a nice hollowed out tree, but I
Where-
suppose the stone
It
would
has to
work.
be a pretty big tree.
Yes. Where are you finding trees, even after being hollowed out, that you fit in? Honestly.
So, you contemporaries' understanding of nature is very immature. Where I come from, the trees are large enough to house multiple families of my herds.
Well,
They are, we call them the Great Crimson Woods. And they give, that not only do they allow us to use them as shelter, but they also have lived for hundreds of thousands of years.
Well, that is all well and good, but I prefer a roof over my head and a bed to lay my head on.
I mean, I imagine tree houses have roofs. It's the rest of the tree. I don't know. I've never been. It's certainly easier to get various bits of work done. While in the city, though. And I certainly still have business to do about town if you all.
I'm unsure I can accompany you, as I'm quite easy to spot. in a
No, that is
crowd.
very true. Out of character, real quick. You are Centaur, but like, what size horse are we talking about? Standard or Clydesdale? Like, because that makes a difference.
Or are you like some breed of pony?
I am not a
Oh.
small. Oh my gosh, no. I want to have some
He's
sort
little
of.
Sebastian.
I'm not little Sebastian.
Not yet.
You could be looking at as you could be like destrier size, which is a little on the smaller size, but lean and muscular.
I see myself probably like typical horse, maybe a little bit larger than like your average horse, I would say.
Okay.
I could be
So
a
he's not
horse
a
girl
draft
and give you a
horse,
breed.
but-
I could hatch into my horse girl background and give you a good breed.
Oh, well, let me hear it.
How about a Frisian?
Frisian.
They're really pretty. They're really pretty.
Dead set on making you the prettiest centaur man there ever was.
Absolutely, I have to be
Yeah.
gorgeous.
One part Fraser,
Yeah,
one
he's like
Fraser or whatever she said. One part Fabio.
Frisian.
Frisian. Am I getting that right?
Frisian.
This horse
do,
does
yeah.
look like it's Fabio, though.
Yeah, the pictures I'm looking at are very Fabio-esque for sure.
Fabio
This
horse.
horse, they have like
Yeah,
long hair, and they have like little fur on their feet.
Of course they do. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, I'll take that.
They're
I'll take
very
Alright.
fancy. Yep, Frisian.
I would like to see a picture if one of you could post that in the Discord for me.
I will post one in there. I was a horse girl in like the 4th grade, so
To know.
Yeah,
can't say
that's
it was
fair.
for nothing.
Would you say one of our goals is to get out of the city?
That is entirely up to you. As villains, I only have minimal plans as to what's going on, like what other villains are doing, what heroes are doing, what the various governments are doing. The story is going to be largely based on what you as villains want to do. Your goals are important. Your short-term goals, your long-term goals, your mid-term goals. Those will drive the story, where you go, who you fight, who you don't fight, etc.
Oh.
I have put you in this particular situation to give you a starting conflict.
We've gone to ground just in case, but I clearly don't respect. What was the name of something Mauler? Give me the hero.
The Grizzled Mauler.
Grizzled Mauler. That doesn't seem like a Sherlock Holmes investigate type, so I'm pretty sure he's not going to catch on to what I'm doing. And I'm going to keep going about my business while being, slightly quieter about it. Because I put arrogance on the sheet, and goddamn it, I'm going to do it.
Fair enough.
I tagged you in a horse pic. This is wild.
Jeez.
Now, what I have to ask, the picture I've been sent has a horse that is like straight up like black fur and all that kind of stuff. Is that what we're looking at, John?
Oh yeah, that's what I
Oh,
was
yeah.
looking at too.
They're
Yeah, you can
majestic.
picture this is my bottom half, obviously.
The top half is probably fairly muscular.
top- yes, pretty muscular. Minimal clothing, perhaps like a vest and a sort of rope or leather sort of satchel across my chest to sort of hold various belongings.
Yes, very very majestic, sir. If I recall, one of your higher skills is physique, correct?
It is, yes.
Yeah, so that does mean that you have some muscle.
He's in great shape. Good to know.
Yes.
Yeah, I intend to continue going about my business, which is honestly, I imagine we haven't been in town too long. If we're not already, causing problems. Probably looking to make contacts with the local troublemakers, let's call it.
All right. Is anybody accompanying our resident Owlkin, or is he going by himself?
Excellent.
Beatrix will
I
go.
kind of want. I kind of want to go. But
That would be funnier.
we're not
So
currently.
go ahead.
I think so. We're not currently being like hunted by anyone, right? You said, or there is a certain person that is kind of looking for us specifically, or is just
Right.
a hero in the city.
They're
There's a
hunting for
local hero
villains.
in the area by the name of his title is the Grizzled Mauler. You don't know what his actual name is. He is looking for villains in his city, so he's looking for you as a precaution.
Oh,
Your
gotcha. Okay.
Your group has like consolidated into a safe house. And then, obviously Janak has decided, you know what? He's not looking for us specifically. I'm going to go back to what I was doing.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. On second thought, my legs are starting to cramp. I could probably use a good trollop.
Trollop?
Isn't that what they call like walking around or like
Trot.
jogging?
Trot. Trollop is another word for lady of the
human.
night.
That's right.
Slut. It's a word for slut.
That's why I
Trot.
started giggling.
That's what I'm on the hunt for, so I can.
I'm not saying we can't go find that for you. But we're probably going to have to pay extra.
Damn.
No, I said I'm gonna fuck them up, not fuck them. There's a difference.
I'm talking about for him. For what you're doing, it's a whole
Oh.
separate thing.
Yes, this is shaping out to be glorious. All right, so what are you ladies going to do as the two gentlemen decide to go out and
Props
risk?
for trollops.
Yes. Are we going to look for a trollop to fuck up? That's what I heard.
Yeah, that sounds. I'll go fuck up a trollop.
Great.
Yeah. I guess that's a really, really pretty one. So you can kill them.
Oh my God.
This has
So-
already gone completely awry. All right, let's do it.
Having gone to ground, realizing that you're not being directly hunted, the group has decided to go back about their business. Fair enough.
What? His name's the Grizzled Mauler. I don't think he's going to catch him. It's fine.
All right. If you're in fact looking for a trollop, you're gonna need to leave the inner walls to go to the mid city, which is the area between the two walls. In fact, the guys are also having to leave the inner wall to go into mid city if they're following, Janak's goals. As I assume he said he's looking for troublemakers. I don't know what brand of troublemakers specifically, but
I mean, I got to see what's available. But I guess we're all going to Mid City together, even until we diverge for our own stupid task. We're doing such a bad job already. I love it, guys. Great job.
yeah,
Doing great.
I'm enjoying this very much. All right, so
I'm so embarrassed.
Fine.
this is great. All right,
You could make that the name of a stunt, Trotting for Trollops. Use physique
Trotting.
when trying to impress women.
Absolutely.
Trot or
it's
trollop.
true. You totally could.
That's a valid stunt. All right.
Actually, okay, I'm taking this back. Absolutely, this is what I would try. This is what I would want to do. He is a horny horseman. Sure, let's go with that.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No
right.
judgment.
Although, didn't we have a what was our hard no that we said we were not going to do?
Non-consensual.
Non-consensual. Okay, great.
Yes,
All right.
I will not say no to you going. You know what? I'm going to go to a brothel. I'm like, all right, cool. You go to a brothel. Have a good day.
The ladies love me there.
I'm sure they do.
Trotting for trollops.
All right. So, Janik, how are you looking around for these troublemakers? Like, are you like talking to people? Are you listening in? How you doing about? How you going about this?
I would start with going probably to just frankly the rougher areas and keeping an ear out, and if that didn't lead to anywhere, start hitting the dive bars and talking to people, etc.
All right. Since you're not specifically starting out talking to anybody, let's have you roll notice,
Sure.
and then we'll go from there. For the ladies, are you looking for a lady who's at work,
Looking for somebody pretty.
or are you just looking for a lady who happens to be on the street?
A really pretty
On the
lady
street
that's
is
on
on
the
the
street.
All right.
Yeah.
What I'd like for the two of you to do then is roll me an investigate to see what you notice. And Eden, are you just following Janik, or are you looking around for your own thing?
I'm vaguely sort of following Janik. I am kind of he's doing all of the work investigating, and I'm just kind of casually strolling along, taking in the scenery and being vigilant to my surroundings.
Then I want you to also roll notice for me.
Sure.
Target number for this for any of you isn't that high. However, the poor ladies have rolled terribly, so this is going to be great.
We did really bad. For the people, it is a -2 and a 0.
I got a whole 1, which makes me the best so far.
Would you
Indeed.
mind would you mind telling me where I find the dice to roll again, please?
So it's on your character sheet. What you'll do is find the skill in question, and there should be a little dice icon next to it.
Oh, you said notice. Okay, yeah.
Correct. Now, this is look at that. Eden's at the top of the top of the list so far. This is a good chance for me to be able to actually have some people use their aspects to change some of these terrible rolls if they so choose. The target number was 1, so the guys have succeeded. In fact, Eden has actually succeeded with 1 upshift, which is actually going to be useful. So, as you can see on your character sheets, you should all have 3 fate points. Fate points can be spent to allow you to reroll, add a +2, and I can't remember what the third one is.
Power certain abilities.
Right, and to power certain abilities. Right. For example, Irmagard rolled a 0. So by using a fate point, Irmagard can turn that 0 into a 2. Beatrix rolled a -2. +2 is not going to do you any good. It's just going to put you at 0. So you may want to re-roll. If you'll notice on the actual card, it has some stuff that says fate point actions.
Yeah.
Plus gives you that +2. The second icon lets you re-roll. And the third icon, you don't want to use. It's for manually adjusting it, and that would be something that is for me.
Refresh my memory, please. How do we refresh fate points? Like, is it the next day we get our fate points back?
Right.
Is it like, how does that work?
There are various ways to gain fate points. Occasionally, I will invoke your trouble and go, this thing is happening. You can choose to let it happen, and I give you a fate point. Or like I may put you in a negative situation and say, hey, for a fate point, this thing can happen. You can say yes or no. And the most common way is if you have less than your refresh worth of fate points at the start of every session, you go up to your refresh worth of fate points.
Okay.
So right now your refresh is 3, meaning you would, if you have less than 3 fate points at the start of every session, you would go back up to 3.
Okay.
And of course, if you're, acting out the negative parts of your aspects, you can always petition for, hey, I've made a lot of bad choices based on my my sheet here. Can I get a fate point for doing the thing?
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's not
there's a
something
lot
that
of-
like I want to hold on to my fate points because it's going to be difficult for me to get them back.
Nah,
No,
should be
you want
spending
to
them.
spend them. Fate
Okay.
points are an economy token where I will, in order to facilitate problems, I will offer you fate points for bad things to happen.
Okay.
It's so that it facilitates drama, puts things in there, and it's not just a simple like with D&D where it's like, oh, we're wandering around, oh, we need a long rest so we can get our stuff back.
Okay.
This is more of because it's a more abstract system. Fate points are meant to be used to fuel conversation to keep the game going.
Okay. Then yes, I would like to use a fate point to re-roll.
Okay. Which fate point are you looking? Which aspect are you thinking of using to represent the fact that you're re-rolling? Like which one?
Can I use any of them?
As long as it makes sense.
As long as it makes sense.
If you can justify the aspect to the GM, then it counts.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you can only use a given aspect once per dice roll.
Okay.
You are allowed to invoke more than one if you feel it necessary.
Okay.
And the good thing is fate points don't have to be spent until after you roll. So you can roll something like, oh, hey, I rolled a lot higher than I expected. I don't need to worry about using it.
Is my title included in that or no?
Yes, your title is included.
Okay. So I kind of want to use my apprentice killer for hire because she is very observant because of that.
Used to hunting people down.
Yeah. So I feel like that would be a good reason to reroll because I feel like I should be able to notice extremely pretty ladies on the street because of that.
Fair enough. You're observant of people just because you're used to killing them. That's fine by me.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll allow it. Under the fate point actions, you should be able to go ahead and click the dice. It'll reroll for you, which unfortunately
I got the same thing.
It raised it
Wow.
at least.
Wow.
Because you went from a -3 on the dice to a -2 on the dice, which still
Doesn't help me,
unfortunately
though.
puts you at -1.
Yeah.
So what about you, Irmgard? Are you up for using a fate point?
I'm gonna use my fate point and get myself up to a 2.
Which aspect are you planning on using to power this?
I was
Feel
gonna
free,
use-
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say beauty obsessed. Like it's a little crazy if I can't find somebody hot in this town. They've got some problems, and maybe we should
Okay.
just leave.
Yeah, we can use your high concept of being a beauty obsessed killer goblin. Your trouble generally is going to cause you more problems than good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but your high concept is very similar, so it works.
Okay.
So if you hit the plus symbol under fate point actions,
Boop boop. Okay. Doop.
it
I hit it.
should.
It gave me a -1.
That's
That's the opposite of what I asked for.
Hold on. I'm going to try something.
I also made a quick art and I put it in the Villainous 101 chat, so everybody should look at my art.
I saw that. And it's amazing.
That's a good one. Okay, so I went ahead and clicked the button just so you can see what it looks like. But if you notice, your investigate went from 0 to 2.
Okay.
And it shows where it says
there it
paid
is.
invoke +2. Yeah. You have to do it on your roll card when you did the roll. So if you do it on somebody else's, unfortunately, it won't do anything.
I thought I was hitting mine, but I hit somebody else's, and I apologize.
That's okay. All right. So poor Beatrix is too
Hence.
yeah, tense, paranoid, and among other things. Points. We'll go ahead and deal with the ladies. Right. If you have character art, let me know. Send it to me. So I can actually add that to your character sheets.
That would be cool. I want to make something of her.
All right.
It fighting you?
What?
What?
There we go. Sorry, Discord was acting up for a second there. I was trying to talk and it wasn't letting me. Okay. So the ladies go off one direction and the gentlemen go off in a different direction. Because, well, you're not necessarily looking for the same thing. Beatrix is super tense, doesn't see anything, is looking over her own shoulder because there's a hero in the city looking for villains. And as far as you know, you're the only villains in town. It is not hard to find for Irmagard a gaggle of lovely ladies dressed rather provocatively, wandering around buying jewelry.
Okay, so now I just have to like lure one, and that's the hard part. If it's a singular one, it's easier.
I mean, I could maybe shapeshift into a gentleman and try to get one of their attentions and like have them follow me around the corner.
Love that energy. I would love that.
Okay. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna like. Is there an alley nearby that I can like duck in and change into a handsome gentleman?
Yeah, that shouldn't be too hard to do. Find a gentleman, find an alley to change your shape. If you're going to lure one of the women away, I need you to make me a deception roll.
Ooh, okay. Holy shit! I got a 6.
Big roll, big roll.
Wow. All right. So I had set the TN at 2. I didn't mention it, and I probably should have. I'll have to get used to saying that before you roll. With you having a 6, you got a bunch of shift ups. It's not hard to get the attention of one of the women while the others are busy looking over some jewelry. And she slips away from her friends without saying a word.
Okay. I will take her arm and lead her around the corner to the alley, where my little goblin friend is waiting.
As you're wandering down the alley, she's like, this kind of activity usually costs, but I'm willing to give you a discount about the same time as you have reached your goblin friend. Now, are you, Irmagard, are you trying to stay hidden? Are you just standing out in the open? What's your approach here?
I like the idea of her just like jumping from the shadows and scaring, because I think that it's easier to hurt people if you have a little bit of an element of surprise.
Okay, then what I want you to do is I want you to roll stealth. She's not paying attention, so you have to get at least a TN of 1 in order to be stealthed. Otherwise, you're not hidden well enough for her for her to
Nice.
What did I? That's my I got a 4. Because that's I dumped a lot of stat into.
I did too.
Yes, well, stealth is rank 5, so you're as high as you can get to start with. So, yeah, it's not hard for you to just blend into the long shadows of this alleyway.
I'm a little
When
goblin.
yeah, when Beatrix walks by with this woman who is, in fact, making you fairly angry just because of how nonchalant she is about flirting with the form that Beatrix has
It's
taken.
despicable. Disgusting, really. And honestly, she should have to pay for it. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Because you
Yeah.
rolled so high, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a temporary I'm going to give you a temporary advantage, which is surprise attack. That is basically a temporary aspect you can use to give yourself bonuses. Now, because you rolled so high and it's an advantage, usually when you create an advantage, you get a free invoke for it. Which means you can give
Nice.
yourself like a free reroll, a free +2, something like that.
I love it. I'm so
Yeah,
excited
because
to.
you rolled super high.
This is what I'm built for, baby.
All right. Now, in order to be able to slay this woman,
Yes.
you're looking at normally to attack somebody with a weapon, it's a fight roll.
Yeah.
I don't know what your fight looks like, whether it's good or whether it's bad.
It's fair.
That's better than what most things you'd be looking at here. What we'll do is we'll set. She's a normal person. She doesn't have a lot of. She doesn't have any armor on. She's completely caught unaware. But it's not easy to kill somebody, regardless. At least not outright. What we'll do is I want you to make me a fight roll. And we're going to set that TN at, we'll set it at 2 just to make it a little difficult. Whoa, apparently the dice love you for slaying this woman.
Yeah, they're saying let's destroy this woman.
Don't forget, you can add a free +2 while you've still
You
got that
can.
temporary aspect.
Yeah. I say just let's
I
just
can do
demolish
that.
her.
I say
Okay,
absolutely. So I just do that.
Under free actions, you can press the little plus.
That way it doesn't spend one of your fate points.
Yep. So you only needed a 2, so you got 5 over. It is not hard to just jump out of the shadows and then slice this woman's throat so she can't scream. And you position yourself in just such a way that her blood like splatters into the shadows, and then she just falls to the ground.
Can I
I
say
feel so much better.
just for fun, as she jumps out to slice her throat, I want to change back into my form and just kind of wink at her as she gets her throat sliced.
I mean, sure. Like, the poor woman is like killed by a goblin. The hot dude she thought she was going to be getting lucky with is apparently another woman. This is not a good last few moments for this woman.
We're
Bad
villains,
day.
right? Like, I'm supposed to be mean.
You are in fact
Thank
villains. It is in fact now you've committed murder in town.
Yep, that's what happened.
Hmm. I
You have in
killed
fact committed
first
murder.
kill, first kill, first kill, first kill. A banner. I need a button.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna. She's not a major NPC, so she doesn't have some of the defenses you might find if you fight a hero. That's why she was so easy to slaughter. Now, Irmagard, you're a beauty obsessed killer goblin, and your title is you're a visage taker. How, in fact, do you deal with other people's beauty after you've slain them? Do you take it? Do you like maybe cut off their face and keep it? Is there some metaphysical way that you've learned to be able to like take their beauty from them and then use it later for your own advantage?
I wanted to like have some sort of like kind of stealing the essence of their beauty in order to like bottle it up, and like my goal is to like kind of have like a stockpile of it so I can just like immerse myself in it at some point.
I mean,
It's
fair
very like
enough.
bathery.
That
World's
definitely
most-
seems like it'd be a great way to be able to create a stunt for you, to be able to use, um, to be able to do certain things, since you don't have any stunts. Because normally to do something like that, I would consider that, some sort of magical ability. But you don't have the two skills that normally go into magic, which is lore and magecraft, which is perfectly fine. Your character's not actually a mage.
But is there like
How,
a way I could have like? Oh, sorry.
however, one of the things that we can do is if we can create a stunt that allows you that whenever you would steal someone's beauty, we can substitute the skill. So it gives you the ability to go, I'm doing a magic thing without without actually using the magic skill. That also means that you can, with this stunt, you'd be able to steal beauty from not only the dead, but potentially from the living.
Ooh, love that.
Yeah, so what I'm looking at here is you have the burglary skill.
I
That is the
do.
skill that deals with theft.
How convenient that.
So what we're going to do is we're going to create you a stunt that says whenever you would steal someone's beauty, you'll use your burglary instead of magecraft.
Okay, love that.
Um,
Oh,
it is, I believe it's limited enough since it's only one thing in particular, and stealing beauty is one of those things that I think is something your character should be able to do. Now, what this means is that you would be creating creating an advantage by using your burglary skill to basically say, I'm stealing her beauty. For a period of time, I have access to a temporary aspect that lets me not be me. Essentially, you have a short-term ability to shapeshift, unlike your assassin friend who can just do it.
and it's usually like I just make myself into a hotter goblin.
A
A hotter goblin, you can steal. It depends. Like you're still pretty new at this, so that means that you
Yeah,
probably at this point make yourself into a hotter goblin.
Yeah.
That could upgrade later for you to be able to take on their appearance entirely, or even to pick and choose what you want from certain people who you've stolen beauty from to create an entirely new face.
She's got
Okay.
great hits.
Well,
So
do
what
I
I
need
want
to
you to do
roll
is I want you to go
burglary?
ahead and roll burglary for me.
Okay. Let's see what I get. A 4.
Excellent. All right. So what this is going to do, you didn't quite make it to get 2 free invokes, but you are going to have essentially the free aspect stolen beauty, which will give you a bonus to appropriate skills whenever you decide to use it.
Okay.
So what does this do for the person you're stealing the essence of their beauty from? Does it actually make them less beautiful?
I would think so. I would think that it kind of like, it like dulls their appearance and like their skin gets ruddier and like, like their nose might become crooked or their lips become thinner. Just like things that are just like, they look not like themselves, but they like still can resemble themselves. So that I don't know, like everything gets dulled. Everything gets like depending on how like good I do, like I'd say like, it could be anything from like, you know, all of your hair is suddenly super greasy and your face gets covered in acne
Well,
all the way.
I'm gonna go with it probably is based on what they think is the most horrifying thing that could happen to them in terms of losing their looks.
That's a really good one.
So for this particular person, her skin shrivels up and she looks like she has visibly aged like 40 years in a span of a few seconds. Apparently, she was afraid of wrinkles.
Mm,
She's my fiend.
typical. But
Excellent.
I think that Irmagard is just healing herself now.
It also means that she'll probably be a little more difficult to identify. Now, you're going to have to figure out what to do with the body. In the meantime, I'm going to shuffle over to the guys and see what they're up to.
Sure.
So the two of you have, started wandering around. You're kind of walking together, but you're looking for looking at different things. Since Eden's just kind of taking in the sights. Let's see.
I was thinking perhaps I mean, I'm sure that do I notice since I rolled notice, I was wondering if I notice anybody or being defiled through in these streets. I suppose. Either that, or I was thinking, do I could probably I'm sure that the soldiers might also every once in a while be trotting for Trollops as well. So I don't know, maybe I notice the soldiers going a certain direction.
All right. So it's not hard to tell because you get a 2. It's not hard to tell where like which soldiers are off. Like it's not hard to pick out the soldiers that are off duty because they're not going to be. Most of them aren't going to be in uniform. The few that are, are generally just kind of lounging, for lack of a better term. Like they're usually standing around talking, but most of them are out of uniform because, well, if you're in uniform, then that means that people can call on you for stuff even if you're supposed to be off duty. You are able to sort of pick out where they are, um, where they congregate. Um, One second. And you're also able to listen in on some of their favorite places to go. So it's not hard for you to identify a place where you could find a trollop.
Okay. I guess in that case, I'm going to sort of keep that information, and I'm going to sort of focus my attention on what my comrade is doing at this point. Ooh, there I am. I was looking for
Yeah.
that.
I have put the icons down to represent what part of the city you're in. So far, I've only, mostly because Isabet's was prepared and I forgot to tell everybody else, I only have one image, and that's the one for Beatrix, though I assume Kit might be sending me one.
At some point, I definitely will. I don't have it handy at the moment. I don't feel like digging through my files.
Fair enough.
I'll ask another question. The soldiers, the off-duty soldiers, when they see me walking around, do they have any sort of visible reaction to me, or are they just sort of minding their own business? I'm just is it
Reactions
typical
aren't the reactions aren't going to be anything that's not atypical. Centaurs aren't exactly super widespread, so
Right.
people will just be like, "Oh, look, it's a centaur," and they might like watch you for a little bit and then go back to what they were doing. So none of their responses are atypical.
Gotcha. Cool.
You're interesting, but not upsetting.
Good. That's great.
That's why we
Good
get
to
your
know.
rep scores up. Everyone can be terrified of you.
Yes. Granted, you do have like you do have a few people that are apparently like giggling about, because you're a very handsome gentleman. There are a few people who have made comments and things.
Are there any I don't know what section of the city we're in. If we're trotting for Trollops, I'm assuming we're not in a very like marketplace-y sort of section of the city.
No, especially not with since you're following Janek's lead. You're heading into a more residential area. You've passed through probably what would be best described as like not a marketplace, but like a local, like essentially like a local section of businesses where you might find like a couple of like a tavern or maybe a couple of taverns like close to each other, but it's not a marketplace where they'll be selling wares.
No, I was thinking more of like fruit stands or something like that.
You'll see those scattered about, but this isn't a major marketplace.
Okay.
I see a cat.
He likes to make sure that everybody knows that he's here whenever I'm recording. So say hi to George.
Kitty.
It's cat.
Janek seems to be like moving with purpose in a given direction. There are from you having been here for at least a few days, there is what is probably best described as like a tent city within the inner wall. If you keep going the direction you're going, because you're going clockwise along the city walls, the ladies have gone counterclockwise.
Okay.
So if you look on the map, there's all those like colorful roofs in a big section. That's like that's a tent city. So it's basically a place where like merchants have set up, or like you'll find a lot of people down on their luck who have set up tents. Things like that. So it's basically like a place that is constantly shifting and changing in terms of what's there. Because none of the structures are permanent.
We're headed toward this tent city. Is that what you're saying to me?
Correct. That's the direction Janek is heading.
Okay.
He has a particular purpose in mind because he's looking for particular people, and he has decided that this is the direction you're going.
You are, of course, free to split off to have fun with your Trollops. As you have, I believe, found the soldiers in which direction they're going to have that occur. Fighting all those don't split the party instincts.
I am fighting the don't split the party instincts. I'm wondering. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna ask. What is it that you seek on this venture, Janek?
Connections. Always connect. Find some new people, get some ears to the ground, see how close our problem is to actually getting to us, see if there's any worthwhile business ventures to get involved with. See if there's any people possibly to make allies with who seek similar causes.
Are you worried about the hero? I'm unsure what a mere mortal would be able to do.
I'm not particularly worried, no, but knowing where he's at is helpful to plan around.
I suppose that is advantageous. This is at the point where he might notice the soldiers going in a particular direction.
Yep.
I think I shall leave you to your business. I think I might take a brief detour. As he
Hopefully not too
turns.
brief.
Hopefully not. No, that would be that would not
Yes,
be well suited.
He'll basically wave you off like, yes, go about your business.
Thank you. He's gonna walk in the direction that he sees the soldiers going.
Yes, the ones that are also trotting for Trollops.
Yes,
But they're not nearly as good at trotting as he is.
very good.
They are not. All right. Let's see. Let's deal with Janak first.
All right, sure. So apparently I'm heading toward Tent Town.
You are in fact heading toward Tent Town. Mostly because in Tent Town you're gonna find the people you're looking for and or who are desperate enough to potentially listen to you.
Artful. I always make good sense. All right, sure. All right, when I get to Tent Town, I assume that's when my notice kicks in, and what do I hear or see or what's going on?
All right. So once you have arrived at this little miniature tent city, there's obviously hawkers selling their wares. There are, a few people who are very obviously like down on their luck, who are coming back from or getting to leave for various day jobs. There are unsupervised children running around in small packs.
Wild and free.
But this is definitely the place to go. It's not hard to find out that there are not quite refugees, but there are people from closer to the border who have evacuated because one of the border villages came under attack, and they weren't sure if that was from Rokugan or if it was something else.
All right, so basically a bunch of displaced people who had to quickly leave where they were at. Probably not in the best place mentally and physically.
That would be correct.
Sure, that sounds like exactly the sort of people I want to talk to and convince of things. So I will make my way there. Wait, what did you just do?
I chose a temporary image for your
What?
character
No,
since you were
why would
splitting
you?
up.
All right, fine. You
It's an owl wearing glasses.
those are. I don't think. All right, fine, fine.
I expect you to find a permanent image. I titled this one Janak Temp.
That is
Fine.
quite a nefarious icon.
It's a nerd owl. Damn it! All right, fine. I can make this work. I can make anything work.
I just picked an image so that I could separate you without using the generic token icon.
That is
Yeah.
adorable, and you should keep it.
All right, we'll see what happens. So what are these displaced people doing? Are they actually involved in anything? Like, are they just moving about, interacting with the various markets? Are they arguing with guards? Like, what's happened?
A lot of them are still organizing themselves. Like, it looks like they're trying to keep it together. Some of the families have retreated to their tents or they're really like, you can see that there are cliques forming amongst them. Basically, people who are more familiar with each other are forming small groups. Some of them are sullen. Some of them are talking about, potentially working to buy weapons to go back and reclaim their homes. So there's a few different sentiments among the group. You can tell which ones they are because a lot of them are either using like ramshackle lean-tos, or their tents are made from very similar material. And even though they're forming in cliques, they have sort of taken over a section of what would be Tent Town.
All right, I will take a few minutes to see if I can't identify. How do I want to phrase this? Let's go ahead and start with what I'm sure are the group of angry young men who want to go back and solve the problem violently.
Yeah, those ones aren't hard to find.
Yeah.
They're pretty vocal about, like, they're all sitting around with a bunch of makeshifts. Like, they've apparently taken pieces of wood and made them into sort of like makeshift benches, and they're around a small fire. Most of them are wearing like ripped clothing. A few of them have like wounds that are still healing, and they've got crude weapons amongst them. Most of them are like poles from what looks like they used to be farm tools, or like crude clubs. There's a few actual weapons like knives, and like one sword amongst this group, but most of this stuff looks like it's like makeshift weaponry.
Gotcha. Does it seem like there's a leader amongst them, or are they just all kind of rumbling at each other in a self-perpetuating cycle of "we should do something"? Yeah, we should do something.
There is one who is not talking amongst the group, and he's basically looks like he's observing as the rest of them have gone into that self-perpetuating cycle of like, how do we get real weapons and real armor? And they're like, because we have to do something. We got to take back our homes.
All right, then that's the guy I'm gonna go talk to then.
Okay. Are you going to be joining the circle? Are you waiting for him to separate himself? You going to try and get his attention? What's your plan here?
I'll wait for him to separate himself.
All right. Eventually he does. You're standing around inconspicuously for several minutes by the time he gets up and moves away from the group after excusing himself. You see him like move past a bunch of tents. Looks like he's actually going to relieve himself.
Well, I'll let him take care of that first. Catch him on the way out. He'll be less off guard after I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Once he's got out, I'll approach him.
Okay. It is from what you can tell, most of the villagers are either humans or like some sort of like half breed. So like half orcs, half elves, half dwarves. So it's a very human centric group. So this particular, he looks like he's in his like early 20s. He was one of the few that was carrying an actual weapon.
Is he in fact human then?
He is in fact human.
Okay. Then. Hey yo. Basically, make my very obviously saying like hello.
He takes a step back, puts his hand on the sword handle. Can I help you?
Just want to have a bit of a chat. That's all. And don't worry, I'm gonna point over at his weapon. You won't be needing that. Not for me.
He doesn't let go, but you can kind of see his shoulders loosen a little. What do you want?
Like I said, to have a bit of a chat. Though, I imagine you haven't had a decent meal in a little bit. How about we talk over food? I'm sure there's some sort of street stall selling something quick and easy.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of like street foods being sold by enterprising merchants selling like low quality meats like on the stick. or like various kinds of stew. So you've got a pretty good selection of different things.
Gotcha. Then I'll lead him over to something. I'll buy for one for each of us for whatever the best meat stick available there is. Hand it over to him, assuming that he is willing to accept it.
Yeah, he'll take it off your hands and like pretty quickly start tearing into it.
Uh,
All right, you've got my attention. What do you want?
to talk, but more specific. But I've said that a lot. You and your what village was it?
They referred to us as the Southern Rest. Granted, we had a different name, but nobody calls it that anymore.
Well, what was that?
Easton. They called us the Southern Rest because we were at the southern part of the trade road in that area.
Well, I'd like to know what happened at Easton and all of that. You see, I do a fair bit of traveling myself, and it's always good to keep up to date on anything that's going to move this many people suddenly.
All right, what I would like for you to do.
Cool.
First thing I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and spend me that fate point for your nose for the desperate stunt.
Oh, okay.
Because I kind of figured you were following that.
Hey, I just went to go doing it, but sure, I'll.
This will give you some benefits. And then what I want for you to do, since you found somebody who is who does in fact meet the criteria, I want you to go ahead and roll me.
Rapport?
Yeah, rapport.
Rapport it shall be.
Since you've used the fate point for your nose for the desperate, as long as you're not in negative numbers, you'll get positive information. The higher, the better.
I got a 4.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, I somehow managed to avoid any of the minuses.
It's true. So it takes him a little bit to get to the meat of what's going on, because he starts talking about like the goings on of Easton, which is, given that your character came from a small village, something you're familiar with, like the harvest.
The rambling of a
blacksmith
small
was up
town
to.
kid about his hometown. I got you.
Right. Eventually, what he tells you is that things started getting strange about a month before things happened. Now, based on his description of where the town is, it probably took them month and a half, 2 months to walk here with like the few possessions that they could, because there's a few carts here and there you can see mixed in amongst the group, but no, you're not seeing any sort of beasts of burden. If they had them, they either sold them or ate them, out of desperation, things like that. But so the town is definitely farther east. It's probably, based on your description, one of the easternmost towns, which is how it got its name. And it's very much on the border of Rokugan. What he describes to you is essentially things started getting strange. The weather took an unusual turn for what they would normally see. Now, at this time of year, it is roughly the beginning of springtime, end of winter. So they would normally be seeing, at least in the Martin Federation, they would be seeing, where temperatures would be rising. It snows in some areas of the Martin Federation during the winter, but this is an area where they wouldn't see snow. And he's describing seeing snow.
Mm-hmm.
Then shortly after that, some of the villagers started, either leaving or disappearing. And that's when things started to get that's when things got bad very quickly. What the last thing he remembers seeing before he turned and fled was an armored group with glowing red eyes moving towards the village when everybody evacuated with everything that they could carry.
Well, that's certainly a tale. Though, I have to ask, I noticed earlier you sitting around with some of your fellow villagers seemed very upset and seemed to want to do something about it. They do know that they'll definitely die, right?
All of us lost somebody, either from the disappearances or from that group that hunted us down. We want to get
Even?
we want to get our just desserts.
I'm sure, but you're not exactly equipped for it. At least, if you're going about it the normal way, you're certainly not.
What do you mean by that?
Well, most of you are in rags. I think you had the best weapon of the bunch, and while it's a very fine piece, I don't think it's going to solve anything that could do all that you just described. However, if you're willing to take a bit more time and learn a few extra skills, there are some things that might actually help you get your just desserts.
Okay, enough with the riddles. I don't get what you're talking about.
You're not going to be able to stab anything that can do something like that. However, we, luckily enough for you, live in a world where there's more options than that, though it's going to take a bit of dedication and hard work on your end. And access to either a teacher or at the very least the right sort of books.
Are you talking about magic?
I am talking about magic.
Right, like you can do magic.
And then I'll look around as if I'm checking to make sure, as if I'm about to share a secret with this fine young man. And then I'll, pull my hand up and do some little fiddly fingers, or I guess with me it'd be more along the lines of feather waggling to make sparkles and little fires and snaps appear.
Okay, you got a 4 on your rapport, so I'll give you that without making you roll.
Hooray. Now,
Oh, you can do parlor tricks.
I can do a lot more than that, but city guards tend to take a very dim view of large displays of magic in the middle of town. Now, if you're willing to meet me again a little bit later, we can head out of town, and I can show you a bit more, when there's not quite so many bystanders out and about.
Okay, I'll bite, but I'm not coming by myself.
I would hardly expect you to. Though, maybe try and pick some of the more discreet ones from your group.
He looks over at his group of friends and then turns back at you and nods. After sundown, Eastern Gate.
That'll do just fine.
He turns and walks away.
All right. I'll go get my necromancy for dummy pamphlets ready, and by that I mean, considering my title is fledgling death cult leader, I assume I do have some of the intro sort of beginner guides that don't actually look all that sketchy at first that I could go get a hold of while I check on the rest of my compatriots to make sure they haven't done anything dumb. You know, like catch something or murder someone in an alleyway for no reason.
Well, that's fun. We'll have to see what happens there. Yeah, I would assume that you have like a mini primer on necromancy that you can hand out.
It's probably not even on necromancy, it's just magic in general. You gotta get them hooked a bit deeper before you start telling them about the necromancy.
Yeah, a mini primer on how to cast basic spells is definitely something you can do. All right, horseboy.
That's me.
Or should I say horseman?
Horseman, 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 horseman.
'Tis I.
He rides across the nation, the thoroughbred of sin.
You have followed a group of off-duty soldiers to a very upscale building for something bordering essentially a slum section. It is actually fairly large. I'm going to put you right next to the building in question. It is fairly large. It is a 3-story building. The bottom floor is made out of stone. The rest of it is made out of wood. You can see where there are, like, it has a fence going all the way around the property, like a very tall privacy fence. There are lanterns hanging everywhere, even in the day. And it looks like there are several places for people to be able to relax in, like, little nature-style alcoves about the front end of the property, where there's a fairly well-maintained, if controlled, garden. The soldiers have no qualms about just going in the front door, where you can see that they are greeted by a small entourage of scantily clad women and men.
Okay. Um. What time of day is it right now? Is it like normal daytime?
I would say it's
Midday?
getting into, like, late afternoon.
Okay. Um. I suppose I will. I suppose he'll start making his way. Is there anything else jeez. I'm sorry. He's just gonna kind of walk up to the front door behind them after they go in.
Yeah, the front door is, large enough for you to easily fit through. You don't have to squeeze. It looks like it is designed for even some of the larger races you've encountered. So it's, not hard for you to walk inside. You're once again greeted by a bevy of men and women, and those inside and outside of those two particular genders. As they greet you, a very formally dressed woman is seated slightly ahead of you. She bows and says, "How can I help you, good sir?" This is very obviously the madam.
Yes. um. Good day, madam. I am here to. I have come to peruse your wares, as you would say.
we cater to the tastes of as many as possible. Do you have a particular preference?
Hmm. Do they? Hmm.
This would be a slaughterhouse if you had Irmgard with you. There are a lot of pretty people here. A lot of different races are represented as well. Like
I was gonna ask that question. What are we? What kind of other races maybe do we have? Sort of.
the majority you see are human. You can see like there's actually a wood elf in the group, like a full-blooded wood elf. There's a couple of half elves. There's a half orc. There are a few beastkin of various types. So there's a wolfkin. There is a there is a lizardkin for people who enjoy scales. There's also a dragonkin, which they're very different in terms of like body type. Like lizardkin tend to be smaller and like built for speed, whereas dragonkin are much taller and bulkier. Even like, and for dragonkin, the women tend to be larger than the men.
Hmm.
So they kind of have that whole like reverse size dichotomy in terms of sexual dimorphism.
I see. Um. I I am most I'm most interested in the wood elf and the dragonkin for sure. What am I doing here?
What
I
are
mean,
you
we
doing
know
here,
what you're
Mr.
doing
Johnny
there.
Jobs? You did say you are a horny horseman.
I did say that. I just
Here's a thought, right? People
Yes.
tend to let their guard down in places like this. You
Yes,
can,
yes.
you don't necessarily need to get your horny on. You can go
Yes.
to one of the public drinking spots and just gather information.
Yes. That is that's kind of what I was leaning towards. I wanted to maybe perhaps I have a sort of rapport with one of the girls of the this is why I was thinking about the wood elf specifically. I was wondering if maybe I have a rapport with one of them, and maybe they have some information for me that about some of the higher ups in the city that I could that have potentially visited this spot, and I can learn of their whereabouts.
I'll allow that. The wood elf definitely seems like the type who would be willing to share that information with you.
Yes.
And would be considered exotic enough that some of the more adventurous rich people and important people might be like, "Ooh, look, this is exotic." Ooh.
Yeah. Madam, I'd request the services of your very sorry.
If you have a rapport, you know her name.
I was going to say
Granted, they'd be using an assumed name, so I don't know. I have to make something up here. Name generator, go.
Lottie's pretty good with elf names.
I also
All
have
right.
a bag of elf ears unrelated to my beauty stealing thing.
All right. I had a name randomly generated, so we're gonna go with Saria.
Saria. Lady Madam, I do request the companionship of your Lady Saria, if you wouldn't mind.
Of course, of course. You're familiar with this particular establishment, at least vaguely. Um, so, you pay a small fee up front uh, in order to basically reserve time with your chosen courtesan. And then, like, if you choose to extend, blah, 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 you pay more afterwards. Um, you do pay extra for alcohol if you choose to partake, but they do offer, like, water and uh, other non-alcoholic drinks as part of the payment for service. So
Okay.
if you want to get your drink on, you're free to. I'm not going to
I would
force.
imagine for show I might I might order sort of some wine for us.
That's fair. You have a resources of one, so I'm not going to force you to roll. I'm assuming you can either go to like a private sitting room or one of the public areas and relax. Um, they will bring out pillows for you to be able to essentially lounge in, since they don't exactly have couches built to support a centaur.
What can I say? This world that these humans have built is not made for me. It's another reason I despise it.
Couches, because they use like solid frames, are also fairly uncomfortable for you, so pillows are the preference.
I think I would take a private room.
Okay. So you
Or
find yourself.
you know what? No, yeah, private room. At least for now.
Fair enough. You find yourself in a private room with Saria, who immediately serves you the wine and then makes herself comfortable and like does like a sort of half bow. How can I help you today?
Sorry, I don't know if we need to share in these sort of misgivings of formality. Obviously, you and I know each other better than. He's gonna look around this. I'm curious as to your clients recently, if you've seen any of high nobility in this area. Wondering if you've overheard any conversation between any high-ranking officials of the city, what their plans are.
Go ahead and roll rapport for me. This will tell me how much she's willing to share.
Ooh.
It's okay. I didn't set the. It was basically the higher the number, the more information she'd give you. She does like, once you're just like, we can dispense with formalities. She kind of throws herself over like one of the big pillows and like bonelessly lays there, and she's like, nobody new's come through. The governor apparently has not been to the establishment in like a week, so we think he's preparing for something big. And the governor is essentially the person who runs the town, um, and the surrounding area. Um, they've apparently been sending out the local hero to hunt for villains. I don't know why. It's weird. They don't normally ask him to do anything but be like he normally just patrols the town, right? So that way it discourages crime with there being a hero, but they've got him like doing something specific, which is weird.
I'm curious of this hero. What is his Have you seen? Do you know of him?
Yeah, he's actually like he's a half orc. Takes mostly on his orc side. I think they call him. I think he says he's like supposed to be like 3/4 orc, like his dad was an orc or something. I don't remember. Walks around with a big hammer. I think he's making up for some stuff and some smaller hammers. He just likes hammers.
Hammers. Um. Have you? He's just patrolling the town.
Yeah, they've got him looking for like supposedly they got like word from out of town that there's like villains here and they've sent him out to like try to locate these villains. I don't know how truthful that is though.
Okay. Hmm. Sorry, I'm trying to think about what I want to do in this situation. Where I want to go from here.
Now, one of the things I did not give you the option for, which I'll give you the option now if you so choose, if you have an aspect you think you can invoke, you can, either try to reroll or give yourself a +2 to see if you can wrangle more information out of her.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Um. Ooh. This hero that is patrolling these streets searching for villains. Do you know? Have you heard? Perhaps any details of where he is housed or residing in the city?
I mean, he supposedly stays somewhere within the inner walls.
That would make sense. I'm wondering how I can. Am I? Is there anything that would lead me to believe that she is not giving me accurate information?
She's being very vague, which is unusual. So either what you're looking at is she's either not sure or she's sort of beating around the bush because she doesn't really care. Um, she's not lying to you, but she's definitely not she's not telling you everything she knows. It's possible she doesn't think it's important.
I am going to. What role would I do if I were to say, okay, how about this? Is there any? Everything is made of stone, correct? You said.
The bottom floor is made out of stone. The upper floors are made out of wood.
Am I in an upper floor or a lower floor?
You're on the bottom floor.
Okay. The walls, are they pretty clean? Is there any sort of like vines or foliage of some sort?
No, they would not have anything like that on the inside of the building. There might be some on the outside that's decorative, but the inside they'll have like, nice. Either they'll have like artwork or maybe tapestries or even just like nice, like tasteful curtains set up. Um, and they're with magical lights all over the place.
I'm going to trust, given our previous given our relationship, that you are giving me the most up-to-date and accurate information as possible, of course.
I mean, I wouldn't lie to you.
You've been in the city a long time. You know most of its nooks and crannies better than anyone else that's come through here in the years past. I'm curious how a city as bustling as this one suddenly has had it dried up in information.
So I'm either going to need you to reroll rapport or let me know which of your aspects you're invoking to get that +2.
I mean, I want to kind of like physically threaten her a little bit. So I think I'll walk up to her and
I mean,
or
I
I'll
don't think you have.
I believe that's provoke.
I believe it is. It is, in fact, provoke. Now, this is one of the things where we can come up with a stunt for you since you don't have one, where you can use your physique instead of provoke. But you do have some skill in provoke. In fact, you have more in provoke than you have in rapport.
Yeah, it's true.
So you would need to you'd need to make a TN of 1 at the very least to get her to give you more information. If you wanted to take that, if you wanted to, since you don't have any stunts, if you wanted that stunt to be able to use physique as part of a provoke roll instead of provoke for intimidating somebody, you can do that. But you have provoke, so it's not necessarily a good stunt for you.
Yeah, let me roll provoke and see what happens.
Okay. Well, you got a 0.
Damn it.
Now, this is one of those benefits where you have a very good aspect for this type of thing. Because you have the trustworthy informant aspect and you're trying to get information.
Yes.
So if you can choose to either re-roll or just give yourself a +2, you're at 0 and you need at least a 1.
And I give myself a +2 by using a fate
Basically,
point?
what you're doing is you spend a fate point to invoke your trustworthy informant aspect. And then what that does is it modifies your roll from 0 to 2. Under fate point actions on the actual roll card, if you press the plus, it'll automatically adjust the roll. And it'll spend your fate point for you.
Why not? I'll take that. I'll take the 2.
She sort of like tenses up as you kind of like get up, like start getting up. She's like, okay. I mean, I didn't think it was important, but I think they're sending somebody from the church to inspect the city for like heresy or something. Usually there's only 2 people they send for that.
And they are.
Well, it's either going to be the sword of the father or the shield of the father. I don't know if they're sending the brother or the sister. Based on the fact that the governor hasn't been here, I'd be willing to bet it's the brother. Now, the sword of the father and the shield of the father are 2 of the most powerful heroes in the Northern Divide. They're both dragonkin. The shield of the father is the sister. She wears heavy armor, carries a big shield and a sword, and is known to be able to protect her allies even from afar. She's very large and very bulky, as is fairly normal for her race. The sword of the father is her brother, who is also obviously a dragonkin, who's actually very, very large for a male. And he carries a big sword and is known for cutting things in half with searing blasts of light. He's also the one they refer to as the Heaven's Hatchet Man.
Why would they be sending the children of the father here? Does this city plan to go to war?
I mean, it's getting ready to be summer. Usually they muster troops in case Rokugan decides to attack. Campaign season sucks. It's great because there's a bunch of soldiers and we make a lot of money, but I'm always so busy. Now, one of the things that you're going to know is the Dragonkin. They worship. They worship two gods in particular, depending on whether or not they worship two gods in particular. There is the father of all dragons, which I'm going to shamelessly steal again, which is Bahamut, the platinum dragon, and the mother of dragons, Tiamat, the five-headed dragon, queen of destruction, blah 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 blah. So the sword of the father and the shield of the father are both worshippers of the platinum dragon, since he's referred to as the father of dragons. Tiamat wasn't always evil. Apparently, she became evil as like part of their mythology. You really got to be a dragonkin to know all of the details.
I guess I should have picked the dragon girl. Damn.
Possibly.
Yeah.
She's pretty convinced that, somebody's coming who's really powerful, and just based on how like the higher ups are acting that she's seen, and the rumors that she's heard, one of them is coming. She's got money. She's actually literally on the girls have the employees of this establishment have a betting pool going on which one it is, and she has put money down that it's the sword.
And the sword is the male one, right?
Correct. He is nice, and he is also excessively vain because he is a gold dragonkin that wears gold painted armor and has a gold painted sword.
I see.
And part of the reason why he's vain is because he is the largest male that he's one of the largest males in recorded history.
Gotcha. And okay. I wouldn't mind if you wanted to maybe check in on our lady friends while I think about what I want to do with the information I've.
I believe we were gonna check in on the girls and how their hiding a body was going.
Correct. We're gonna go leave the gentlemen to their devices of talking to Trollops and or potential cult members, to the ladies who have committed a murder or have been accessories to a murder.
Definitely helped. She definitely helped. My thoughts are always, can we find some sort of compost pile that we could dump things into? bury things. Generally, like the pigs would come by and take care of anything we don't need.
What else is in this
Um,
alley?
The alley
What?
itself is the alley itself looks like it's actually fairly clean, if dark. And it looks like really it's a back access to a bunch of the buildings in this area.
I mean, they
So
could always just drag her a little further into the alley and leave her on a doorstep.
Yeah, that works.
But I
Let
mean,
somebody
if you
else
really
up
want to,
and make it their problem.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
you
my
can
thought.
there are trash heaps here, so you could throw her in a trash heap.
Either way, I just don't really want to work too hard to get rid of this body, but I will if you want to.
I'm down with the trash heap. We can just
Okay.
drag.
You are
But I
aware that
will
there's a
if you want.
hero looking for villainous activity, so a murder is not going to go unremarked. But also, it's not necessarily murder happens every so often, even when villains aren't involved. So
Yeah, but see,
maybe rob the lady beyond just stealing her looks, so it looks like it wasn't like a
Oh,
villainous
that's a good
thing.
idea.
yeah. We could
He's just
go.
Irmagard's gonna be like, take whatever you want.
Do I find any money in her pockets?
Oh yeah, she's got various denominations of coins. She's got a few pieces of like jewelry ranging from really cheap to fairly nice. Um,
Yeah, I'll
the dress she's wearing is bloodstained, but it's a fairly good make.
Now I'll leave the dress, but I'll take the jewelry and the money, and I'll show Irmagard the money and say, "It looks like our friend is buying us drinks."
She does
That
have a
sounds good.
fairly well-made bag with her, also. Though the bag itself
Ooh.
is is probably recognizable.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna take the money and the jewelry because we can sell we can fence the jewelry if we need to.
Yeah.
But if you would like to take the bag or the dress,
Well, the bag would be like if we kept it away somewhere and then we just sold it in another town, that'd probably be
that's fair.
pretty easy to handle. Yeah. So I'll grab it and shove it underneath some stuff that I have so that I can dispose of it at a later date. It's a little less conspicuous.
Okay.
Fair enough. So you steal her belongings, and then, based on what it sounds like, you're gonna like dump her body in a trash heap.
Yes.
All right. What I would like for you to do, I want you to make me a stealth roll. One of you make me a stealth roll. The TN to hide a body is fairly low, but the higher you roll, the less likely people are to find it. So it's just a TN1 to find it. A TN3, which I believe you actually just made, means that people won't immediately notice the smell of rotting flesh after a couple of days. So, yeah, you managed to hide it within a fairly stinky midden pile. And most likely no one will notice for several days after she started rotting that she's been buried there.
Plenty of time for
You to either
people
have made your
to
escape or for people to not be able to tie it to you type of deal.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Excellent. Well, the group has gone about doing things. You've got a little time, Janak, before sundown. Are you still hunting down your allies?
I mean, yeah, I should probably check in on them and grab the stuff I need to
Excellent.
do the basic intro to. Hey, do any of you have magic, and are therefore useful to me?
Excellent. All right. I'm assuming Eden, after the prepaid for time is up, you're leaving, or are you going to stick around?
Well, he is going to after she gives him the information that he so kindly asked for, and he didn't have to get too physical with her.
Hmm.
But
He is going to suggest that it does get physical after, since she gave him partially what he wanted, and now he wants to finish the job. So he's going to do that, and then afterwards, as he grabs a nearby towel to maybe clean himself up a little bit, he is going to look at her, give her an extra a little bit extra gold for her services, and tell her, because she is a wood elf, I hope even though you spend your time in this city, you don't forget where you come from. And he's going to toss her the gold and leave the brothel.
excellent. All right. So the guys are basically finishing up what they're doing. Ladies, you've hidden a body. You've had time to do stuff, because what the guys are doing took way more time than the two of you committing murder. After hiding the body, what are you up to?
Drinks.
Drinks.
Right?
Yeah.
Drinks.
We were taking
okay.
the money we stole from the pretty trollop, and we are buying ourselves drinks with it. We worked hard for that.
Excellent. So the two ladies are having drinks. Are you talking about anything in particular, or are you just drinking?
I think Irmagard is like kind of reveling in the fact she looks really nice right now for her. She's just kind of feeling it.
Got that slightly prettier goblin face.
Aggressively hitting on the waiting staff.
Oh yeah, seeing how far I can get. Hey,
Yeah.
how do you feel about goblins?
And what about you, Beatrix? What are you up to now that you're drinking with your lady friend?
I think I'm just kind of sitting there amused watching Irmagard try to get some action with the waitstaff. And just kind of sitting there drinking, keeping my eye out, just seeing who comes in and out, that sort of thing. Just kind of keeping my eye on the exits and making sure nobody's paying too much attention to us.
Okay. Just for the fun of it, let's do some rolls and see how well Irmagard does. And so, Irmagard, I want you to, I don't know, are you being friendly? So let's have you roll rapport, and you can use your stolen beauty for this if you want, if it comes out poorly.
Yeah. I get to press free invoke.
Yes. It turns it into a 1, so you're not going to get any action, but you are. But at least some of the waitstaff is willing to flirt back.
I'm not repulsive for a little bit.
Yeah, for a little while, you're not
physically.
Emotionally, we can't do much about that.
That's a personality
Really?
thing. That's a deeper problem.
It is, in fact, a deeper problem. Elizabeth, can I get you to roll me either notice or investigate, whichever one for you is better? Because they're for different reasons, but I feel like in this case either one would work.
I'm gonna go with notice.
Are you though?
No, apparently
Are
I'm
you,
not.
though?
No, I'm not.
This has not gone well for you.
I know. Can I use a fate point to make that a +2?
What are you?
Oh, right.
Which one of your aspects would you be invoking? Now you've already used the free invoke for your title, so you can still invoke that one again. It would just actually cost you a fate point this time.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's just.
Right, because you're still being paranoid.
Yes.
So go ahead and under fate point actions hit that plus to give yourself that +2.
Okay.
Which will give you the information you're looking for. So as the both of you are drinking and you're letting Irmagard revel in her temporary but not hideous looks, you see a group of soldiers walk by the tavern the two of you are drinking in, and they're being led by a fairly hefty half-orc carrying a really big hammer. They don't stop. They look like they're like making the rounds. The half-orc is grumbling really loudly about like stupid rumors don't mean anything. There's no villains in town. Blah blah blah. And really, he's just like grumbling really loudly about having to go on patrol instead of being able to like do his usual routine.
So as long as we don't do anything silly like start murdering bitches in the alley, maybe we won't get caught.
Yeah.
No. So do they sit down somewhere near us, or like where are they going?
No, they're walking down the street. They're on patrol.
Okay. Gotcha. Hey, Irmagard, are you okay here? I think, and I'm obviously saying this quietly to her, that half-orc with the hammer, I think that's the hero. I want to go follow them and see if I can hear any good information. Are you good here, or do you want to come with me?
I'm good.
Okay.
And like, since I'm a goblin and I'm tiny, I feel like alcohol like just hits me way faster. So I'm probably just a little like, woo.
Definitely on that getting close to drunk scale. For those of you who are looking at the map, I posted a picture of the half-orc in question.
Puddle.
So yeah, I would like to kind
what a guy.
of leave and kind of duck into the shadows and follow them close enough that I can kind of listen, but far enough away that they don't notice that I'm in the shadows following them.
Okay, I want you to make me a stealth roll. The TN is 2, which means it is a little difficult.
Oof. I got
Well,
a 2.
you made the TN of 2. That was a -3 on the dice. Wow, the dice hate you today.
I know.
As opposed to what day?
Right?
Well, you follow him and his essentially squad of soldiers as they like methodically move their way through town. Occasionally, he stops random people and asks them questions if they've seen anything unusual. One of the things that you notice is the group of Trollops that you lured one of their members away from.
Mm-hmm.
They're moving down a nearby street and they look sort of distressed.
I'm sure I have no idea why they would be looking distressed. Are they getting the attention of the hero, or
They apparently haven't noticed him,
okay.
and he hasn't noticed them because, well, let's face it, he's after having followed him for a few minutes, he's kind of dumb. He definitely seems like the type who probably became a hero. Like, he got his heroic title by basically being a soldier that saved a bunch of lives by jumping in and doing stupid heroic actions. You know, group of soldiers is surrounded by a bunch of enemies. He charges in without thought to his own safety and like breaks the encirclement so that his allies can flee, stuff like that. That's definitely the vibe you get from this half orc. Is like that's the kind of thing he would have done, self-sacrifice through military action.
Okay. Do I hear him say anything that I might find useful about any other heroes and what they're doing, or how long he's planning on staying here looking for villains, or anything that I would find useful?
Oh, you know that he's a local, so he lives here.
Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can make another notice to see if you notice him saying anything about it.
Let's see if the dice will still hate me. And they do.
Yeah, at least you got a
They
plus.
really
At least
do.
you got a 1 this time.
I did.
He does complain about the governor being paranoid. The city's nice and safe. Who cares if supposedly the military high command is sending is sending somebody to check the town. Everything's fine. There's been no major crimes, things like that. He's complaining to the sergeant for the little squad that he's walking with about this. The sergeant's like, well, sir, we don't catch every crime, and not all of the residents report all the crimes, so we don't know.
Okay. I'm gonna follow for a little bit longer just to see if the Trollops get his attention, and if anything happens with that. And if it doesn't look like that's gonna happen, then I will head back to the bar to meet back up with Irmagard. I mean, I guess even if that does happen, I'm still gonna make my way back. I just kind of want to have a heads up whether or not they actually like are looking for her and find her body.
You follow him for a bit longer. The Trollops have moved off the opposite direction of where he's headed.
Okay.
Like he's making like the counterclockwise circle, and they're moving clockwise.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll just head back to the bar to see if Irmagard's still there.
Irmagard, what have you been up to since people are actually flirting back?
I've been trying to get free drinks.
All right.
And I have been also trying to order whatever kind of food I could get because I'm hungry. A little bit of murder makes you hungry.
Gotta get
Okay.
snacks.
Let's yeah, you got a 2 on your last roll. So yeah, you haven't been able to get any free drinks, but they do fill the mugs a little more than what they would fill them, so you get a little bit of extra with refills, and you get a little extra food when you order food. So they're not giving you anything that's openly free, but you are getting some benefits.
This is the life. This is the life. She would say. She's just kind of reveling in it because, like, that's really kind of the high for her is to just kind of feel like what a pretty person with pretty privilege would get.
You've been alone for almost an hour by the time Beatrix shows back up. You've had a chance to polish
Okay,
off a couple of drinks, and you're
drunk.
halfway through your plate of food.
Oh, baby girl's drunk. It takes not a lot of alcohol to make a tiny goblin drunk. I'm
Oh,
probably trying to like hit out random people still.
a lot of the patrons at this point, because she is straight up drunk, are trying to ignore her, or like if she calls out to them, they're pretending that they don't hear her, but she's so drunk she can't tell.
Yeah, and she's a mess. It's fine. But she will tell people that she is not drunk.
Does she still have a
If
drink
there
in front
was
of her?
karaoke at this tavern, she would be singing karaoke.
Amazing.
Yeah, she has like a mug that's like 2/3 full, and there's like 2 empty ones off to the side, and you can see the empty one you finished before you left.
As I come back in and sit down and see that she's a little drunk, I'm gonna actually sit down and grab her mug and start drinking it.
Oh no, 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 no.
It's
It's
warm.
not very nice.
It's warm. I'll get you a fresh one.
Right. Okay, that's very considerate.
I'm not
Considerate.
actually gonna call somebody over to get a fresh one for her.
Oh, definitely don't do that. She's kind of like singing some bard song. It's like, and it's like you can't really tell what song it is, but to her, she really knows what song it is, and she expects you to sing along. And then I said, right, all right, let's. And we're going to the
We should go check on the guys.
exactly. I could use some little night air. I am just
Yeah, bringing her to the public.
sweltering.
Great choice.
Oh, I know. It's gonna be great.
In her mind, she's only a little tipsy, right?
Yeah, she's just a little tipsy. But it's like because she drank like enough for like a normal person to feel pretty tipsy, but she is like half the size of a person. So she is drunk.
I mean, one way or the other, I'm gonna have to get her home. So
Yeah.
All
And
right.
we're going to the right.
Well, by dint of convenience, the group seems to all reconvene at the bodega at the same time.
Oh, lovely. Hi. You guys are. What's going on?
Oh, we're back at the bodega.
I am hungry now. That sounds pretty good.
Just gonna completely ignore the goblin. Look at our look at Beatrix and point. What happened there exactly? You know, it probably doesn't matter. How did your evening go?
it was very nice. A very kind person donated money for us so that we could have a girls' night out on the town. So we went and had some drinks and some food. It was delightful.
Right, I'll pretend that's what actually
Ladies
happened.
just want
I also
to
saw
have
the hero
fun.
and followed him.
Oh,
Ooh.
You came across the hero?
I did.
were they up to
Was
anything
he
interesting?
handsome?
No. He's dumber than a bag of rocks. He does not agree that there's villains here, and he does not feel like he should be wasting his time looking for any.
Hey, I told you it'd be fine to go about our business.
He did say
We're
something
good.
about them
Yeah.
potentially calling in other heroes or something to someone to help out with crime that he was very annoyed about, saying that they didn't need to do that, but I don't think that really affects us if we can get out of here before that happens.
Be fine. How was your endeavor there, Eden?
Quite fruitful indeed. I am able to corroborate Beatrix's story. One of the wood elves at this lovely brothel establishment that I visited mentioned to me that the governor might be planning on bringing the children of the cross, the brother of the sword, brother of the
The
sword,
sword of the father.
the sword of the father to the city.
All right. Janak's been like nodding along, like, yeah, no, this is a great story. And when you say sword of the face goes, oh no. I'm sorry. Who's coming?
The sword of the father. He is a dragonkin.
No, I know who the sword of the father is. What the fuck is he doing here?
All of you should know who the sword of the father is. He is one of the most powerful heroes. Like, there are 4 heroes that are considered the most powerful heroes in the Northern Divide, and he's one of them.
I know. Eden doesn't have a very good sense of humor or sarcasm, I feel. He's a very literal being.
Fair.
So, his description, his giving a description was almost a genuine when you said you didn't when you questioned the sword of the father, then he was like, oh well, he doesn't know who he is, so I should give him an explanation. Anyway,
Fair enough.
rock and roll. He's gonna turn to Beatrix and he's gonna say to the group, yes, I was unable to gather any more information about what he will be doing here or why he is coming, but it does seem that our time in the city might be cut short if we do not move on to somewhere else.
Oh no, I certainly agree. I've got one last bit of business tonight, and then I'd like to be very gone. I'm more than willing to run circles around the Mauler or whatever the hell his stupid fucking name is. I'm not. Oh.
Speaking of which, Beatrix, you said that he did not pose any sort of threat at all.
I mean, he's a big half orc. He has a very impressive looking hammer, I suppose. But I mean, he seems dumb. I don't know. He just I don't know. He refuses to believe that there's villains in the town, and he seemed almost offended that he was tapped to look for us. So I don't think that he poses any kind of a threat to us because he doesn't even believe that we're here. So as long as we're smart about what we're doing and we don't give him a reason to suspect that we're here, I think that we should be fine.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if he's an idiot,
I say we could
No,
just.
Well, I was
I
gonna
was
say-
thinking about visiting him tonight and at least keeping an eye on him, maybe seeing if he has family, something. I was thinking about maybe going to visit him tonight.
That's smart.
I didn't say I was going to kill him. I just said I was going to visit him.
Oh, I like it. I think it's good initiative.
So to be clear, right after saying you think we should give him no sign that we're actually here, you want to
I would like
give
to
him a nighttime visit?
I would like to I didn't say I was going to go like knock on his door, but I would like to maybe watch and see just to be on the safe side.
Alright, I suppose it's better to have eyes on him than not.
Mm.
Alright,
And I mean,
is she going to be alright, or is she just like this forever now?
no, she just needs to sleep, I think. She had several drinks.
'Cause I am actually asleep. So that is pretty accurate.
She just needs to sleep it off. She'll be fine. And I figure if we watch him, maybe we can find something that we can use against him or hold over him if he does start to suspect that we're here. Or we could just kill him.
Well, if he does not believe that we are of any threat to him, perhaps we should change his mind of that. These heroes, they wander the streets and the country, acting like they should receive gifts from this world. Little did they know, they come from this world.
Problem is, they have received gifts from this world. It's called a title, and it's mostly used to kill people like us.
Or innocent.
Granted, I prefer. Well, yeah, innocent people. Wait, are you claiming that we're innocent people? Because you don't know.
No.
Much.
No.
Okay. I'm not worried about the Mauler. Okay, did either of you two get any kind of time frame for when the sword might be arriving? Or just that vaguely will show up at some point?
I don't remember the answer to that question.
I didn't give you the answer, but she did say probably within a week, 2 at most.
Mm.
Alright, well, getting some information on the Mauler is probably not a bad idea. You're not wrong there. This one's going to need to be sober for it, though, while pointing at Irmagard.
I'll get it together
is she-
for you.
Is she kind of like stumbling around, or is she like how what is her balance look
I
like?
think she's stumbling, but she's also dancing.
So you can't tell if she's stumbling or just a terrible dancer.
Yeah, that's about right. She's not a great dancer. But she's doing like that drunk where it's like, you can hear the music, can't you? And people are like, no.
The perfect sweet spot if you can't tell whether or not she's bad at this or drunk.
Exactly.
Great. Well, then I suppose anything we're planning to do, we need to have done in the next couple days, because if he's going to be here in possibly a week, I'd like to be gone at least by a few days.
Agreed.
I'm more than willing to deal with the
Yes.
Mauler one way or the other, but I'm not ready to deal with the sword. Not yet.
Agreed.
Echoing
I
silence.
do think sorry.
It's not
I do think
just you.
I do think that is wise. Although, yes, it would be nice to know what sort of prowess this Mauler has in combat, and if he can be bested easily. One less hero is one less to worry about, of course.
True.
Oh my god,
You'll
dear. Would
find
you
out
like
what
to
makes him tick.
would you like to maybe lie down for a little bit so you'll be ready to go this evening when we go spying?
Tired.
Is it nighttime now?
Oh yeah, I guess I don't know that.
It's getting
No.
into dusk, so she could probably nap for a little bit and then hopefully work it out of her
Yeah.
system.
I was gonna say,
I think
I can
You didn't have
offer
some water.
to
sobriety
Yeah.
route.
sobriety roots. I can suck the alcohol out of her.
What I meant at all, but that's even better. It's like when a snake bites you, a centaur can suck the alcohol out. What?
I don't know. I was gonna suggest maybe I can I like pick her up and put her on my back, and
She
then
gets a
I
horsey
can
ride.
say, yeah, a little horsey ride. I will take I will take the goblin back up to the hideout to rest if you are to do some reconnaissance on the Mauler.
I was assuming you're already in the hideout having this conversation in a private place.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought we were like hanging outside.
We probably shouldn't talk this much about murdering the local hero outside.
That's true.
It's
Then
true.
forget what I just said.
It's all good. Well, you nap. You get ready to go spy on. I have a meeting to go to, and Eden I have no idea what you should be doing. Something, I assume.
Don't know what I should be doing either.
Get ready to back up
I'm-
our assassin in case she somehow gets caught. I don't know.
Well, you were looking for somebody to do magic in front of that dude, right?
I was going to do some magic to prove I could teach them magic.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
teach them. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. I have to prove my
was gonna say, I
bona
can-
fides.
I can strangle him with some plants if you want, but
You can certainly come along if you want.
no. Well, I don't know how good I would be at. I'm not. I don't have any points in stealth, I believe. No, I am 0 points in stealth. I am 0 points in deceive.
Well,
I am
It-
0. I am
well,
0.
it is about the time where I think don't we need to stop for you?
Yeah, we're getting ready to.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to want to
So
be wrapping
you have
up
a
soon.
week to think about
Yeah.
what you can do.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2
I'm not
weeks
playing on
because
Monday.
we're
2 weeks.
taking.
Brain,
We're not
right,
recording
right.
since next week is yeah.
Right, because holidays are real. I always forget because I don't ever get any with my job because it sucks. Anyways,
I shall watch over the
Oh.
goblin while you two do your missions, fulfill your missions.
do our dark work.
Appreciated. Oh, dark one. I killed a lady.
What?
Nothing.
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 I feel like you would almost want to tell him that you killed someone because he could use the body, but
What? They already
Oh,
threw it in a
oh.
dumpster.
I mean, I figured
Yeah,
it was
I threw it in
easier
a
to get rid
garbage
of the
heap.
body. Yeah, I figured it would be easier to ditch the body than try to drag it back to the hideout for him.
well, you
Yeah,
know where it
because like
is.
you'd have to
You
do
could
most
do
of the
it.
carrying because I'm
Yeah.
tiny.
You could take him to it, and then he could use the dead body to prove to this.
This is true.
To prove
Yeah,
to
but
this
I think based on what he said,
honor
he's
the
he's
acolyte.
not immediately like going the necromancy route.
Yeah, you gotta get them hooked first, then you tell them about all the evil and the blood magic.
Okay.
It's
fine.
like Scientology.
Exactly. We're about to
You
do the
can't
free
just show
Satan
'em
reading.
Xenu. Yeah, you can't just show them Xenu and expect the best.
You gotta build up to it.
That makes sense. All right. Are we
Sounds like a wrap to me.
done?
Excellent.
Yeah, we're-
So
Yeah, it sounds
the
like
think we're
group
that
is
was
getting
really
ready to
fun.
make another break to do their various things while our goblin friend sleeps off her most recent round of drinks. This has been session 1. I hope the players had a lot of fun. I
Oh,
very
yeah.
much enjoyed myself listening to you go about your business. So I'm looking forward to recording session 2.
Hooray, poor
Yeah.
decision making.
Thanks, guys. That was fun. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Had a great time.
All right. Have a good night.
night.
Have a good night, friends.